All right, the X-Man's coming to you live on the X-Man Promotion YouTube page, and we're going to do an NFL recap real quick. Um, Let me do this like this. All right, so we're on live, and it's been a crazy day. I've been doing other things, so I haven't really didn't do the pregame previews for the pregames and whatnot. Um, so let's run down what we have so far today, and we'll start with the early games. We'll start with the Minnesota Vikings and the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons fell to 6-7 today. Minnesota 42 points today. Pretty big numbers. Pretty big numbers for the Minnesota Vikings. They looked pretty good in a solid win today. Really good performance here by Sam Darnold, guys. I mean, I hate to say it, he's got his niche down there with Minnesota right now. He had 347 yards, 22 for 28, 347, and 5 touchdown passes. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I don't know how far the Minnesota Vikings are going to go in the playoffs if they win the Super Bowl or whatever is going to happen. But Minnesota right now at 11-2 is hanging right in there. They're right behind the Lions. They're right there with the Philadelphia Eagles, and Jordan Addison 8 catches, 133 yards, 3 touchdown catches. Aaron Jones 1 TD. Moody had 6 catches, 142. Kirk Cousins. Again, Kirk Cousins can't get anything done. He can't get any done. 344 passing yards, but nothing but 2 picks. He just isn't a good quarterback. I mean, it's simple. The Atlanta Falcons are probably going to have to start looking at Michael Penix soon. I think that their season's pretty much in jeopardy now, Atlanta. I think that they actually have a chance. If they win the division, they can actually get in, but hopefully that's not the case. It's terrible if the Atlanta Falcons get in a losing record, which is really possible to do. We'll see. Minnesota at 11-2, looking pretty solid for the most part. Now we'll go to the Eagles and the Panthers game. Again, you know, Bryce Young has been getting some flack for the Carolina Panthers, and I'll say this: they're 3-10. They didn't win today, and the Eagles squeaked the win out. But Bryce Young, to me, he doesn't have much there. He has Adam Tellen. That's it. That's all he has. They really don't get much for Bryce Young to work with. So, I mean, it's always today where 19 of 34, 191 yards, 1 TD, 1 pick. The Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, who gets $52 million, by the way, 108 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. But he has an offense to work with. Obviously, the Eagles win. Calcaterra got a TD today. A.J. Brown, 4 for 43. Not great numbers. Barkley, 124 yards rushing on 20 carries. But again, the level of competition the Eagles are playing right now at 11-2, they're not going to get a real. They only have one other team with a winning record the rest of the season. So I don't really know how you can put the Eagles in the better position. I honestly think the Minnesota Vikings are better than the Eagles right now for the moment. I don't know if that's going to stay that way, but we'll see where that goes. But the Eagles once again with a victory, 11-2 against a bad team. But we'll see what happens. And move on to the next game, the Jets and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are staying alive. They win it in overtime. They beat the Jets. The mighty have fallen with the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is either going to retire or they're not. I can't foresee that the Jets keeping Aaron Rodgers next year. Although he did have 339 yards passing and a touchdown pass. But does it really matter at this point? I mean, pretty much their season's over. 3-10. They've done nothing as a team. They gave up so much to get Aaron Rodgers, and all the Jets are going to do would be the same Jets, if not worse. They were better with Zach Wilson in there last year. Garrett Wilson, pretty solid game. 7 catches, 144. Sorry, I'm yawning so much. But obviously the Jets falling short again, and another loss. Tua Tagovailoa, 331 and 2 TD passes. Arcane, 14 for 24 and a touchdown. Really terrible numbers. Tyreek Hill finally showed up to a football game, finally. 10 catches, 115 and a TD. Miami Dolphins 6 and 7. They're still alive. They're still alive. They still have a chance to kind of make a push for it. They still have 4 games left. So let's see what the Dolphins can do. Moving forward. Not really going to dwell too much on that game. But the Seahawks and the Cardinals, I think that pretty much has eliminated the Cardinals for the playoff contention now. The Seattle Seahawks have been playing pretty good football. They are now 8-5 and right in the thick of making the playoffs now. Kudos to Geno Smith for doing it. Zach Charbonnet, 22 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. Smith and Jigba, 5, 82, and 1 touchdown. And, it wasn't great numbers for Geno Smith, but he got the job done. Kyler Murray, 259, 2 and 2. I mean, Connor, 90 yards. McBride, 7 for 770. But again, Arizona just doesn't have enough guys. There's no other way you can really, take it into conception. The Seattle Seahawks are now staying alive in the playoff thickness of 8-5 now. And they have a good chance to make it to the playoffs. So we'll see what we got with that moving forward. Seattle Seahawks, they're playing good football. Next game, we're going to go to the team that's probably eliminated from playoff contention mostly, but they're going to keep trying to play, is San Francisco, walloping the Chicago Bears. But, I mean, at this point, they're only 6 and 7. They're not really doing anything spectacular. Jamal Jennings had a TD. Brock Purdy, 325, 2 TDs. Gurnado, 15 for 78 and 2 TDs. George Kittle, 6 for 151 yards. DJ Moore, who, they're racing his talent out there in Chicago. DJ Moore, 6 receptions, 49 yards. The Bears are just done. San Francisco, they're still somewhere in the thick of things, but I don't really think there's going to be really much going as far as, what San Francisco can do. I think they're pretty much out of it. I don't think they really have much of a chance there. San Francisco, crushing them. Brock Purdy played pretty good, but, I mean, again, they're playing the Bears. So, not really too great. Now we're going to look at all the other games, because I know there was more games than that. The game of the day, honestly, in my opinion, I did miss a couple up here. Now, here we go. We'll go to the Raiders and the Bucks. Tampa Bay, 28-13. I mean, the Raiders are done. They're just not that good of a team. I mean, everybody thinks Belichick's going to go to the Raiders because of Brady. I don't even know why people are looking that far ahead. You still have 4 or 5 games left in this season to do. But they pretty much they've hung their coat up. They hung it up weeks ago, the Raiders. At 2-11, Las Vegas has been out. It's been a very disappointing season again. The longer that Mark Davis stays owner of the Raiders with any possession of it, the longer the Raiders will continue to be a 2-11 team every year and just not win. And get guys like Aiden O'Connell, who had 104 yards passing the whole game. They're just not a good team. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield coming up okay. I mean, they're 7-6. They're still alive. Tampa Bay's alive. Baker Mayfield, 295 yards passing, 3 TDs, 2 picks. He still throws 2 picks, though. I mean, he plays well, but, Roddy White, 17 carries, 90 yards, and a TD. Otten, 3 catches for 70 yards. I don't know if what's-his-name has been playing, though. Has he? Mike Evans. 4 catches for 69 yards. Sterling Shepard, 4 catches for 63. He broke it down pretty good for as far as throwing. Jalen McMillan, Cade Otton. I mean, he spreaded the ball down pretty good for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay with the 7-6 record. They have a chance to make a wild card run, I think. I mean, I don't think that they're out of it. We'll see where it is. Tampa Bay with a pretty big victory today for them. Next game, we're going to go to probably the game of the day, and maybe the last one on here at all. The Bills and the Rams. Now, the Bills Bills, for the first time in a while, they lost. They got outscored by the Rams and lost 44-42. Kind of not shocking, though. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to lose to somebody. It might as well be a game like that. Like, playing against the Rams, who played pretty decent there. Like Josh Allen. Josh Allen was part of 6 touchdown passes, though. 3 TDs running, 3 TDs passing. K. Shakir, he got, yeah. Khalil Shakir had 5 catches, 160 yards, and a touchdown. Matt Collins bought 4 for 57 and 1. Ty Johnson, 2 for 55 and 1 TD. I mean, they did all they could offensively. I just think Buffalo's defense is going to have to tighten it up going into the playoffs. I mean, they fell apart and they're now 10-3. I don't think it's the end of the world for Buffalo. But, losing a game like that to the Los Angeles Rams is a little, the Rams are staying alive though. I mean, honestly, in the whole thick of things in playoff run, the Rams are still alive. Rams and Seahawks seem to be on a collision course. Playoff spot. And I think it would be the division win if I do it correctly. So right now, that's kind of like where it stands. Another game that was on, but it doesn't mean that much because they're both equally stink this year. Is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Titans, and the Jags pulled it out. I mean, obviously the Jaguars do whatever. Mac Jones, 220 and 2 picks. I mean, it didn't really do much. Bigsby, Brian Thomas, they played well enough to win. Tony Pollard, 21 carries, 102 yards. Calvin Ridley, 7 for 59. But Tennessee Titans have pretty much solidified their season to be off anyway. So, the Jags are pretty much done. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen there. If Doug Peterson keeps his job or what happens, or not. Also, another game that I missed also was the Saints beat the Giants. There's still 2 more I got to do. So the New Orleans Saints will squeak out victory 14-11 over the Giants. The Giants don't want to win. If the Giants don't win the rest of the year, if you win, you're just enabling your future. Drew Lock, 227 and an interception. He's pretty terrible. I thought he was at least good enough to get in there to win. Malik Neighbors played, but Malik Neighbors, 5 catches, 79 yards, no touchdowns. The Giants are just a sham of themselves. Drew Lock, 5 carries for 59 yards. You don't even have a running back. I mean, the Giants are just a disgrace to the NFL right now. They need to get rid of the bowl. They need to restart everything. They need to just start their whole staff over again. Derek Carr, he played well. There could be your guy to go to the Giants if the Giants were smart. Derek Carr, he had a pretty decent game, 20 for 31, 219, 1 TD, 1 interception. Kamara, 44 yards rushing. Valdez Scantling, 4 catches for 51 yards. The Saints win. They're 5-8. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs though. I think it's too late for them, but maybe if they try to win out, they might have an outside chance, but I doubt it. I don't really think that the New Orleans Saints are going to have a chance at all to do that. But here, and then one more that I missed too. The Browns obviously playing the Steelers. I knew this. The Steelers aren't going to do that again. They're not going to just come out and, blow a game again. But the Cleveland Browns, didn't even play well. The Steelers played pretty solid today. So, Russell Wilson, not a great game. 15 for 26, 158, and 2 touchdowns. Najee Harris, 16 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Freiermuth, my guy. I like this guy. I love that name. He seems to always play pretty good for the tight end spot. 3 receptions, 48 yards, and a touchdown. Jerry Jeudy, 5 catches, 64 yards. What are you going to do? Nick Chubb, 11, 48. Jameis Winston, 212, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. I mean, the Browns have no realistic chance of making the playoffs. So, whatever. Pittsburgh at 10-3. Like I said, my goal was they were going to win 12, and they're 10-3 now. We'll see what happens with Pittsburgh. Obviously, I think Pittsburgh has honestly climbed ahead of Baltimore Ravens now, too, in the standings. I think it's pretty much Kansas City, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, then maybe Baltimore in the AFC right now, in my opinion. That could change. You know, the Chiefs could lose to the Chargers tonight. You're really not going to know totally a lot until after this Chargers Chiefs game tonight, which I have taken the Chargers to win this game. I do think the Chargers are going to go out there and they're going to beat the Chiefs tonight, even if the refs get involved like they've been getting involved all year. I think San Diego or the Los Angeles Chargers rather they have something to prove tonight. If they can win this game tonight, I think this gives votes well for Jim Harbaugh too. I think he needs to go out there and you know what's his name, the quarterback for San Diego or Los Angeles, the quarterback for Los Angeles. I forget his name already. He just got paid 262. Either or, he needs to go out there. He needs to play pretty solid tonight for the Chargers to win. But I think the Chargers can win this football game, and I think they're going to win it by about 3 to 6 points, somewhere in that range. So we'll see what happens later on tonight. I hope everybody liked my breakdown, NFL breakdown for tonight. Hit the subscribe button, and you know I'll probably try to get back on here again soon. You know I might start doing college basketball. Might start doing um, you know, maybe the NBA. NBA is tough for me, but you know, we'll keep looking at it as it goes. But right now, it looks like that's what's going on. The biggest one is probably keeping is the Vikings at 11-2 right now. That's really what I think it is. And then you know, obviously Buffalo losing was tough. Um, you know, the Detroit Lions obviously they played a couple days ago. They played back to back Thursday games, so they've gotten a little bit more rest too, honestly. But you know, it's Lions, Eagles, Vikings, Packers still, and then whoever else is in there. I just don't, you know, maybe Seattle. I'm kind of interested to see how far Seattle can go. I don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs, but, you know, we'll see. I honestly think that the Detroit Lions might be on a collision course for the Super Bowl. Well, we'll see. There's still a lot of football to be played, but as of right now, you know, Minnesota Vikings are hanging in there. Sam Darnold playing the way he's played the last couple weeks. One's got to wonder, you know, for a guy that I didn't think was going to survive after the Jets debacle. I guess the Jets just make quarterbacks horrible. The Jets are just not good for quarterbacks. They're not. It's not a good city. They don't draft right. They have good players. It's just I don't know what it is. I don't know where the line is. Maybe it's coaching. I don't know. But the Jets, I'm not that. You know, they've opened the gateway for other teams to get good quarterbacking. So anyway, I'm gonna get off. I hope everybody enjoyed this, and I'll talk to everybody later, probably next Sunday, or I might do a live for something different later. Anyway, X-Men out for now.